Hello, everyone. My name is Noga Pelc. I'm from Ilan University, and today I'm going to talk to you about ACDL, which is a language for describing agentic LLM context. So an agentic system abstractly is made up of an agentic loop that interacts with an environment, stores and retrieves values from memory, and then takes these values and builds a context to send to an LLM, and then process the response from it. Context is built over time, and it may change based on the system state and the conversation history. Context structure is essential for how we build agent systems, and today we're going to talk about how we describe it. So we all build agents here, and a critical part of them is the context. So let's say we want to describe an agent context for an agent whose task it is to solve simple coding and reasoning tasks. Here we have a textual description of such an agent written the same way it would appear in a paper. So at the start of each turn, the agent receives a detailed description of the task, a directory of available tools with their usage guidelines, and relevant examples to anchor its behavior. Following this setup, the agent's prompt is dynamically updated with the chronological history of the React loop. This is a little much, so let's organize it. Essentially, in each turn, the agent gets a description of the task, its tools, and some examples. For each of its previous turns, it gets the history of the React loop. Okay, but this description is actually ambiguous. If we zoom in on the words history of the React loop, this can mean a lot of different things. We'll focus on 2 examples, although there are many more. So one option is that there are no reasoning traces, and tool calls, responses, and responses are sent in separate messages with different roles. And then the other option is that the history does include the reasoning traces, but this time the tool calls, responses, and reasoning are sent in one message with an assistant role. These two describe 2 very different implementations, and yet they can be inferred from the same textual description. This ambiguity is present in all situations where we describe context today, context of agents, and it's a problem. It interferes with reproducible research because context assembly logic is open to interpretation. It prohibits faithful comparison because different structural choices that drive behavior are not easily seen. And it reduces engineering rigor because we need to have a shared vocabulary to communicate and evolve agent context, and today we just don't have one. That is why we present ACDL, the Agentic Context Description Language. The language captures context evolution over time using time indexing and control flow keywords. It focuses on context structure, not the exact prompt wording, and you can write ACDL code and render it or draw it on a whiteboard. It's that simple. So if you go back to our first example here, this is the way you would write it in ACDL code, and then this is the rendered version of a diagram. So let's break this down. At the top, we have a system message with the task description, tools, and some examples. Below it, we have the history of the React loop, or for the previous turns and the current turn. The diagram also allows us to see which content pieces appear in each of the messages. So here we have the tool used and the tool response. And then we can also clearly see what role is assigned to each of the messages. If we now look at option 2, we can clearly see the differences and similarities between implementations of similar agents. So at the top, we still have the same system message with the task description, tools, and some examples. But this time, the reasoning traces are added, and the entire history is sent in one long message with an assistant role. Whereas on the other side, we have each content piece sent in a separate message with a different role. ACDL is made up of 6 constructs that are simple and easy to understand: role messages, control flow keywords, context evolution indexing, context variables, templates, and functions. We won't unpack all of them today, but they're enough to rigorously describe every system we've come across. For example, we were able to use ACDL to describe context of real-world systems. Here we have the Gemini Plays Pokemon agent. This was taken verbatim from the Gemini Tech Report. It's long and hard to follow, but this is the best and most detailed description of an agent context we were able to come across. And then this is what the ACDL for it looks like. We also did open code. This time we went to the code on GitHub and reverse engineered it. The prompt logic was spread across multiple files with thousands of lines of code. And then this is what the ACDL for it looks like. We did a similar thing for OpenClaw. And then this is what the ACDL looks like. And then ACDL can also be used to describe multi-agent systems. This is an example of an agent that talks to other agents. And this is obviously what the ACDL looks like. For the full example, you can look at the paper. And then once again, when we have the two descriptions side by side, it's easy to compare between implementations and transfer ideas when it's appropriate. We strongly believe that the level of description allowed by a language like ACDL is essential for driving research forward, as it allows us to compare systems and talk about them. To conclude, the way we describe agentic context today is messy and ambiguous. ACDL makes it clear and precise. We encourage you to adopt our language and use it to describe the context of your LLM agents. We also built a website with tools and resources to ease adoption. On it, you can find a VS Code extension and web editor to help you write code and render it easily, a syntax reference, and a Cloud Code skill to help you generate code from ACDL. In the future, we also plan to add an option for you to upload your own ACDL so you can share your work and increase its visibility. All of our code is open, and we welcome any contributions. Thank you for listening, and I'm open to take any of your questions.
We actually have time for 2 questions.
Thank you.
How good is it?
So I actually prepared a small slide for that. I was asked what are the limitations for the language and if it is better for single agents or multiple, or it can be used for multi-agent systems as well. So there are 2 main limitations. One is that we assume an immutable stage during context construction. So at time step t, the value can only change once between t and t plus 1 for the context construction. So if you have multiple changes between them, it doesn't work right now. It's kind of ugly. You can do it, but we don't have like a clean solution for that yet. So if you have any ideas, we definitely welcome them. And then we also have an issue with multi-agent systems when they run on separate clocks. So you would have to synchronize the clock for all of them for that to work. But it can work if you have the same clock for all the agents. Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for this presentation. So my question is, because we have so many different agent implementations, the lack of such a language makes it really hard to compare them. The exact same problem also happens with memory implementations. So I wonder if you have any plan of also tackling this problem for memory implementations, because that would also really help drive research forward.
I haven't considered it, but I would love to talk about it later and pick your mind about it and maybe do it. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was gonna ask, wouldn't the A2A protocol solve the problem? Or, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Thank you, guys.
The speaker.